No, wait, let's talk this out, because all my points are in speech checks.
I want to learn to read.
Well, Henry's story continues in part 2 of this Let's Play series where I'm determined to do right by the immutable laws of nature and go through the entire game, or as far as I can get, with one life. No reloading, no turning back the hands of time. Dead is dead and the game uninstalled for good, but presently I feel pretty good about my chances because guess who just got hired to beat the shit out of poor people in feudal Bohemia?
What are you two screeching about? Stop making such a ruckus.
Bribe me or I'll beat both of you. Laws keeping police brutality in check hasn't been invented yet in 2024.
Lord, guide my hand.
Also, no rules against slacking off on the job in the Dark Ages, because who are they gonna send to beat me? I'm the beater here.
But sir, isn't there a horse I could borrow?
Oh, certainly. Why don't you just have mine? Or, then again, you can just run alongside as befits a peasant.
I mean, it's no different than working for the billionaire class now, so...
Hanush was right. I should have behaved differently. More, well, gentlemanly.
I really like Hans Kapan, not just because his character is exhibiting narrative depth and obvious growth, but he alone seems to understand in any life or death situation it's better to be friends with the murderous, illiterate cutthroat, so they don't kill you after the collapse of society because they actually like you and not just for your money, that will be worthless once currency ceases to have any meaning. Who says he's an idiot?
We'll have to find out, won't we?
Look at us bonding on our hunting trip. I'm totally not gonna eat you in the bunker, good buddy.
Hunting is a diversion. The main thing is to get out of Ratte for a while.
What the f*** is a sea axe?
Sir? Wake up, sir. It's time to go.
What? Are you mad? It's still dark.
Okay, I guess I'll go back to sleep too.
What are you waiting for? Your lord requires you for the hunt. There's a crate in the camp with some old hunting equipment. You can help yourself.
See, we're friends now. You know what I love about this game? You don't even have to do any of the quests and can just sit on a tree stump, jerking yourself off until the story sorts itself out, because I'm not killing cute bunnies just so a nepo baby can feel better about himself by upstaging me.
How did the hunt go for you, sir? Have we got enough hares?
Show me. It looks like we're as bad as each other.
Well, color me impressed because this is nuanced narrative, and now we're brothers in incompetence. See, this is what I mean. If you're not a complete asshole to your underlings, they'd be much more inclined to save you from kidnappers, and not just because I want the kidnapper's underpants.
It's Lord Capon.
That's why I'm taking you into my personal service.
Your vassal Smill is dead. Who did this? Who were they? Give him a horse. His own mount?
Thanks, I guess. Look, I don't want to sound ungrateful or anything, but is anybody else feeling like Henry's rising too fast in the world? I mean, yesterday I was hassling minorities. Today I had the 14th century equivalent of a BMW, and I'm working for and the intimate of, if not Musk, then at least a lesser feudal lord billionaire. Use your turn signal, you
Crucifix. What kind of beasts could do this?
Just don't get in anyone's way, don't go too far, and come back here when you're done.
And now I'm being sent off to solve murder mysteries. It's either they're hazing the new guy or the writing becoming increasingly inconsistent if you don't do any of the side quests and just follow the critical path. Oh wait, I forgot there are levels in this game. When did you get here? Ah, don't scare me like that.
I'm Henry of Skalitz, in the service of Hanish's Captain Bernard.
Okay, now it's like I skipped ahead 3 chapters in the story. Ow, what the? Well, I keep saying it, but life in medieval whenever is boring. It's either this or throwing sticks into a can. Or drunken brawling and manslaughter for shits and giggles. Or wenches. And then Henry invents communism or something.
I'd like to talk about the church and how corrupt it is. They trade everything. Everything is for sale.
Must crush capitalism.
And then he eats this dog.
Hey, mutt. Watch your tongue, peasant. I'm an envoy of Sir Radza Kabila, and this is an official investigation.
See, I liked it better when Henry was just haggling with whores and...
Take more than that to persuade me.
was it something I said? And getting lost in the middle of the woods for no good reason, along with robbing folk who probably don't deserve it.
Sure, I'll let you go, as soon as you pay up. Money! Groschen!
Rather than this shit, because I literally skipped footage of most of what happened, as the long quest chain leading up to this point was a series of medieval detective fiction, which falls somewhere in between a weird amalgamation of Lancelot and Paiwa, and Henry the shit fondler being entirely too competent, lucky, and well regarded and important for what the gameplay was setting him up as until now.
Forward! March!
See, this is my Henry. No hero he. I stay in the back and do f all because I don't want to get stabbed, while occasionally bonking somebody on the head who was looking the other way. Meanwhile, the cutscenes seem intent on portraying me as a vengeful hero, even as the arguable lure of the gameplay is living the true life of a medieval peasant who isn't destined to save dragons so much as beg for his life from the first burly Eastern European who stole a better suit of armor than him. No, wait, let's talk this out, because all my points are in speech checks. Yeah, this is woefully not representative of how the fight actually went.
We live to fight another day, eh?
It's time for the next part of our plan.
So the bad guys are making their plans, and there's obviously more to these bandit raids than I've been led to believe, but...
I'm sorry, Sarah. I don't know how to read.
But I can, and write. I mean, somebody who is mentally aroused by the 3 P's of a good story, premise, pacing, and plot. I can say I'm swiftly losing interest in Henry, paradoxically in direct contrast to his continued elevated social standing, and that's before we even get to the point of...
Good luck, son.
Why did I go to the trouble of stealing all this armor if Henry could have easily afforded it? Get out of my way, I'm a nobleman. All that bad foreshadowing actually detracts from the story as a whole. You know, the game can't even keep up the pretense of the rags to riches story and actively devalues the arcs of the other characters in it. Now that we know Henry's too cool with a sword and also a bastard, and I can barely stand to look my BFF Monsieur Capon in the eyes, because there's no longer a juxtaposition of upbringings and character growth brought on by male bonding despite a difference in stature, but a royal frat house where I'm still being told to go pick up laundry despite my dad being clearly probably somewhat richer than his.
Alright.
Nuts to this, I'm going home. In fact, since I might as well get some use out of the DLC I bought, I asked the wench for her story on a whim, and honestly it seems a hell of a lot more interesting. You know, eating dogs, not being allowed to rest, trying to look down my own shirt.
Here, chickie, chickie, chickie.
No gratuitous self-inflicted bath scene though, and no self-respecting man would be seen talking to me face to face, except to insult or belittle me and my family.
Don't you talk about my brother that way. Oh!
It's everything you wanted for a medieval life sim, right down to sicking your dog on other women and talking shit about boys behind their backs.
Don't talk to me about boys, good wife.
You're very sensible for your age, lass.
Hold on, gotta get a beer for my man because feminism hasn't been invented yet.
God be with you, Henry.
And also being a lying bitch to steal the boyfriends of the other village girls. This is considered foreplay where they can't get working internet.
Take that, you scoundrel!
You gonna go screaming to your mom now?
Ma? Hurt. Won't stop bleeding.
Look at the size of their magnificent noses. Okay, so by now Henry is still alive and somehow having an out-of-body experience, living the life of a teenage girl he's f***ing, which means this series still has to continue, but honestly I'm not even sure I want to. Given the creeping Gary Stu plot developments that seems not to understand we, that is I, would much rather experience the game as an ordinary fringe dweller who only gives one shit about the political upheavals of the era, rather than a key player who also happened to be divinely mandated to influence current events like every f***ing fantasy game out there. In fact, maybe I'll just go pick a fight with more than 2 dudes and get Henry killed. How do you like that, Lord Raditz? Because that seems like the more appropriate ending for an illiterate serf you fathered out of wedlock. Something to keep in mind for next time. Subscribe.